Welcome to another episode of Lucas and Moe versus the movies. We're gonna take on another movie for you guys. Actually, this movie's a little bit animated. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be really fun. All right, Lucas, do your thing.
Oh man! Can I get a raw, please? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? For the main event? Damn!
Welcome back, Knuckleheads, to another episode of Lucas and Moe versus the movies. In today's episode, me and Moe review the new Batman animated film, Batman Gotham by Gaslight. We saw a sneak preview of this film Friday for the DC and DC event that happened over MLK weekend. Now let's bring you to what this movie is about before we get into possibly trashing it. Possibly. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Okay.
Gotham by Gaslight. In an alternative Victorian Age Gotham City, Batman begins his war on crime while investigating a new series of murders by Jack the Ripper. So,
That's it?
as you can see, that synopsis is extremely short.
Wow.
And other synopsises I found of this film are even shorter than that. So, already a bad sign, but
No.
it's fine.
Okay.
So how you want to, again, we're going to attack it like we always do on Lucas and Moe versus the movies. So Mo, first start off by asking you the soundtrack. What did you think about it?
It fit because I liked it. I liked the soundtrack that we got because it was it represented the time, the Victorian image they were trying to send. It was very subtle at times, but then it hyped up when the action hyped up. I mean, they didn't, unlike every other animated movie where they tried to interject like really heavy, almost movie-like soundtracks into it. This was this represented the time period they were going for with this movie, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know how you feel about it. I think I know how you feel about it because we discussed after this, but I'm not too sure if I remember it because that night seemed like a little blur. Can't really say why.
I would say the Victorian set soundtrack to it fit what they were going for.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just meh. It's one of those like oh man, like it felt, and this is gonna be a running thing for me here. It felt like a cheap version of the soundtrack for From Hell. So it wasn't good, wasn't bad. Just either way, it didn't matter to me really. So soundtrack out there. This is gonna be different because this is an animated film, so I'm not gonna ask the normal things of cinematography and all that shit. There's no need for it.
None.
So, only other question: the animation of it, Mo.
I liked it. I liked the animation. I mean, I really liked the animation. I thought for a movie that was representing a huge Elseworld comic book, a huge Elseworld Batman comic book, they really, really, I don't know if they went top notch on the animation because I have seen better DC animated movies. I've seen better animation from DC movies, but I like this one. And I think the only drawback for this animation is, again, they were going really different and they were going Victorian era and they didn't want to do too much. One more thing is this movie was dark, and I'm not talking about the tone of the movie. I'm actually talking about the color palette. It was very representative of very representative of the time period, of the style of animation from the comic book itself. So this might be one where if you're used to more vibrant animation and more vibrant coloring from other DCAU movies, this is one that you might have a problem with. But I liked it. I was okay with it.
And Mo just said one of the biggest issues with me in this damn movie was the animation. And here's the thing. Because where we saw it at played on the big screen.
Yes.
And because it played on the big screen, you tend to notice flaws in the animation that I'm not sure I would notice if it was on a smaller screen. Granted, it was still wasn't that good. I mean, when I look for this time period and I look at animation, the bar was set possibly with A Christmas Carol, the Jim Carrey film that came out years ago. You remember that, Mo?
Mm-hmm,
but that was CGI, wasn't drawn. This was them attempting to draw. And again, it's the running theme of his fucking thing. It wasn't good. Wasn't necessarily bad. It left you wanting more. And that's weird because it felt like I was watching a Marvel animated movie.
Oh, nah. I don't think so.
That's what it felt like.
I don't think so.
Looking at the actual animation, not the story, the animation of it felt like a Marvel animated film where you attempted to do something different and you don't succeed at it, but you're stuck with it. And that's what this felt like. It felt like they could have went their normal way of doing animation and it would have been fine. There's no need to change animation for a time period.
Why not?
You're not like there's literally no need for it. Like no need for it. Color palettes is what you do, not whole changes in animation. That opening scene with Poison Ivy in the club singing, the animation for that scene was not good. It just wasn't. And from there, it got better, but not to the level it should have been. It kind of looked rushed for me. That's what I have to say about the animation. That's the best way to put it. It looked rushed.
So yeah, that's your problem with the animation, is the fact that it looked rushed.
It did look rushed. I mean, and it just wasn't. It didn't look good. Like in all out, it just did not look good.
So let's continue with the breakdown before we actually get into the review, because I think we should finish the breakdown first, because we are probably going to argue, and I don't want to cut you off. So I noticed that I've been doing that. So let's continue with the breakdown. What's next?
I mean, animated movie. I'm not gonna. Okay. I'll go over the voice casting because I'm not going to say acting. I'm going to say the voice. The voice cast. How did the voice cast do for you in this one, Mo?
Oh, I enjoyed. Okay, so Bruce Greenwood has voiced Batman 3 times now. This movie, I think, in one of your, I think you might call this one your top Batman movie, Red Hood. He was Batman, and he was Batman in Young Justice. So he's, maybe 1 or 2 more times, and he might be the definitive voice of Batman for the younger generation coming up. Not ours, because ours is always going to be Kevin Conroy, right?
Speak for yourself. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm saying voice. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm saying voice.
When I hear Batman, I still hear Christian Bale in my head. I can't help that.
Nah, let's talk about the voices, not the actors that have played him. I'm talking
about. No, that's what I said. I said when I hear Batman,
I
hear Christian Bale in my head.
Amazing. You heard it
I didn't say when I see Batman, I see Christian Bale. When I hear Batman, I hear Christian Bale in my head.
Okay, well, I enjoyed what Bruce Greenwood did for Batman. I've enjoyed what he's done in Batman, and I enjoyed what he did for this cast and for this, for Batman in this. I enjoyed let me see. So Batman, I enjoyed. Selena, I enjoyed her acting, or the lady who was cast to play her.
Jennifer Carpenter.
Huh?
Jennifer Carpenter.
Yes, I enjoyed her portrayal of Selena. I mean, because I don't really think we've gotten like a definitive voice actor for Selena, so whenever we get one, it's pretty cool, and I enjoy her. So I liked Commissioner Gordon. I really enjoyed him. I think he did a pretty decent job for his very first time out. So that was pretty strong. And I think that's it for me in terms of who I enjoyed. But the voice acting was okay. was okay. Not the best we've seen out of a DCAU movie, but a pretty good event for those. A pretty good one for those. So yeah, I liked it. What about you?
I enjoyed the voice cast.
Here we go.
Immensely enjoyed it, actually. It was the only part of this film that was redeemable.
Wow.
Again, Bruce Greenwood was great as Batman. Jennifer
Always.
Carpenter was great as Selena. Anthony Head was great as Alfred, which I really, really liked his character.
Right.
Ray Griffin as the nun, Sister Leslie. I think in her very limited time on screen, she was funny.
Right.
And
she was.
It played very well for them. The young man who did Commissioner Gordon, if anybody I had an issue with,
It was him?
it was him.
Wow.
Out of the voice cast. I mean, even again, I'm not good with names. William Sailors. Yeah, Sowlers. I'm sorry, William Sowlers, who played Dr. Hugo Strange. In this, again, great voice cast. They did a really great job, except for I think his name is Scott Patterson, who did Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
Everybody else would get high marks for me for the voice cast.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he was just the weakest link. Bruce Greenwood again
it's awesome as Batman.
And I mean, when he's not like physically on the screen, he's really good.
Wow. That is wow. That is such a horrible thing to say.
Why is that? Think about it, Mo. Think about
man.
it, Mo. Think about what I'm saying here. I'm not saying
I'm not doing this.
I'm just saying Bruce Greenwood, when he's not acting,
What are you talking
and
about?
when he does voiceover work, he's really good. When he's acting,
Are you gonna say
kinda
Bruce,
like-
are you gonna say he's not a good Captain Pike, Admiral Pike?
no, Mo.
Okay.
I'm literally telling you that.
You know what?
No.
You know what though?
Nah.
Jennifer Carpenter, like from Dexter, this was pretty good for her.
She was the standout.
Yes,
She was the standout of this voice cast.
because
She was.
you know what was funny about it is because she is, she's not like, I think if your opinion on Greenwood is my opinion on her on screen, very meh, but what she did in this movie, yeah,
And she was in not the biggest role, but still a really good role. She was great this year in Brawl and Cell Block 99.
okay,
Like, she was great in that this year. So that's, I mean, she was pretty good in Gone. Again, another limited jump for her. She's done good in limited roles. And then, her breakout was Emily Rose. So, I mean, I'll always give her credit because she was the only good part of that film. But for this film, as a voice cast, she was the star.
yes, she was definitely the star.
She was the star of it. Again, Bruce Greenwood was great in this.
All right, man. Let's just move on to the next category. All right, what you got next?
Look here, Mo. Again, this is an animated movie, man. Like, I can't go into deep detail. I will go into the direction because I think this is interesting to me.
Okay, I think so.
Direction
This is the
of
last.
the film.
This is the last thing we talk about
The
before we get
last one
into.
before we shoot off into this movie, but the direction of this film. What did you think about it?
Interesting. It was very interesting. Okay, so there's two things. I think I've said two things about this movie, and one of the things I said about this movie was the fact that this movie again is a Elseworld comic that DC animated universes and Warner Brothers and DC Comics have decided, hey, we're gonna start doing Elseworld comics now. So I thought the direction of this was interesting. It was interesting. It almost felt like you're gonna probably hear this and you're probably gonna want to argue with me, but it almost felt like I was watching The Killing Joke in a different time period because it felt very similar in terms of direction, in terms of weight to that movie.
That is disrespectful.
I thought you were gonna say that,
And The Killing Joke isn't even a good film. It is.
it's really not. And
that's still disrespectful.
And the reason I say that is because it felt very. This one actually was a better movie than The Killing Joke, but it felt as with some scenes taken out of The Killing Joke, it felt very almost like, But one thing though, I will say, we actually saw Batman be a detective in an animated movie, so I was happy about that. But the direction of this movie was very interesting, and I may anger some of our listeners and some fans. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. It was
and you do know he is the director of the Killing Joke.
Yeah, and that's why I say it felt like it a little bit. It's funny. I just looked it up and I was like, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. But yeah.
So, this, even though again, I would say that The Killing Joke is not a good movie. I'm not going to fully tell you yet what I think about this one, but I would say this is the weakest DC film he's directed. I like Gods and Monsters. I like Teen Titans.
Oh, I did like Gods and Monsters.
Again, I'm not a big fan of The Killing Joke, but his direction on The Killing Joke was amazing. Again, this harked back to his earlier work. It was no coincidence that I said it reminded me of Marvel animated films from a man who directed Planet Hulk for Marvel. I know what I saw. I saw what I saw. This was not his best work. I don't know what the loss in translation it was from what I felt was the material to his direction, but it's clearly something, and it didn't come across as good.
Okay, then. I think it's time to get into this movie.
I'm about to say it's really time to get into this film, Mo.
All right.
So I'm gonna let you start off first. And what did you think about this movie, Mo?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. I thought it was good. I'm not gonna say great. I thought it was really interesting, and I thought it was really good. And I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is good. I'll watch this again. I'll recommend it to people to watch. I'm telling you right now, go get it when it drops. If you want to, if you don't want to, I'm telling you right now, do not listen to whatever Lucas is gonna say, because he's gonna tell you not to. This was.
When did you know that already, Mo?
Huh?
When did you already? To tell you something, audience. I should tell you something. The point that he already saying that because Mo got his little red cape flapping like shit for this trash ass movie. But go ahead, Mo.
Hey, Lucas already told you to go watch The Commuter, so you already know how that is. Anyway, so
$18 million this weekend, Mo. A lot of people follow my all I'm saying.
So on the 23rd, when it drops on the internet, and on the 6th of February, when it drops on video, go get it. Watch it on DVD, watch it on the internet, and go get it. So yes, get this movie, watch this movie, love this movie. If you're a fan of the comic book, I think they did one or two things different, because I don't want to spoil anything. So they did one or two things different than they did in the comic book. But it's still a very good twist at the end, and what you think happened, because I'm thinking a lot of people who read the comic book are going to think this is like The Killing Joke. This is exactly like The Killing Joke. But again, Sam Liu took, like, they added something into The Killing Joke to extend that movie. They added a twist into this movie, and the twist was pretty darn good. So I like this movie. We're not gonna rate it till the end of the show, but let Lucas go in and say what he wants to say about this movie. I think I'm gonna mute him at this point. I'm gonna mute you, Lucas.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell the audience Mo is right. Actually, this movie drops on the 23rd.
Yes.
Digitally.
Yes.
You should see it. You definitely should see this movie when it drops on the 23rd.
But
you better download this motherfucker off the internet and not pay for it, though. You better not pay for this piece of shit of a movie. But let's break this down, and I'll break down really, really quickly. But besides me saying that the score was a fake from hell, the animation was meh at best. The story felt like a fake from hell. You're going to have to love this comic to care about this movie. So, this is a film, like so many others, that was made only for people who read comic books. There is no other purpose for you to see this movie. If you've never heard of this comic book, don't you waste your time watching this, because you're going to be mad. Because the twist that Mo loved at the end, Saw that shit from a mile away.
I didn't
and
say
it was
love.
stupid.
I said it was darn good. Chill.
The one that Mo said was darn good was trash. Unless you are blind,
Darn trash.
you'll see it from a mile away. I'm not going to say why it's possible Mo didn't see this twist. Let's just say,
Oh, come
Mo
on.
was really happy while he watched this film. Not going to say why Mo didn't see the twist. I saw that. It was so damn obvious that was going to happen. Like this, again, the only good part is, was a film that Batman seemed to be a detective in. And I'm saying seemed to be a detective in. Because it was just so, there was so much of it that was unnecessary. And it felt 100% like fan service. And again, that's what I'm saying. If you like the comic of this, that's great. If you're a person who's not into Batman comics, but you possibly like Batman animated things, skip this. Because it's going to make you hate Batman a little bit more. Because it's so uneven and feels so rushed the way they did it. This is the lower level of the DC films. This is like the Killing Joke and earlier DC works, the Green Lantern bullshit of a movie, shit like that. This is where this film ranks in DC films. This is one of their one-offs that it's best that you not remember was ever made. Mo? Anything else, man? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short, man. I'm not gonna there's no reason to trash a film that I think was only made for people who like the comic.
And you know what? I was actually going to ask you about that, because it did feel like it was made for the people who read the comics. Now, the next question I was going to ask really is, should DC animated movies be tailored a little more to the comic book readers, and then the live action movies be tailored to everybody else? Or do you think all these movies should be tailored for everyone?
It all needs to be tailored to the general public if you're planning on making money.
Okay.
It's not. These are not cheap films, people.
But no, this movie didn't feel cheap.
I know people think you see DC animated films and you think cheap.
Oh, they're not cheap.
Normally, I want to say they can range from $8 to $20 million that they spend on these animated films. Like, these aren't cheap films to make. These aren't cheap films to market. So you can't go out and say, we're just going to make this film for the comic book audience. And here's the weird part, though. And I'll say this, and I'm going to try to say it in a nice way. When I say you've made stuff and you're totally gearing it to the comic book crowd, I'm basically saying you're dumbing down any chance of it being good. Because comic book people will accept it as it is. They'll even accept the flaws that are obviously in it because they love the comic book. I am not saying they're going out their way to make a great movie based off of a comic book for comic book people. No. They are making crappy movies that they understand people who love the comic will go see or pay to see no matter what. And this is one of those movies. Just like The Killing Joke was that movie, where it was made strictly for the people who like the comic, and they did not care how good the quality of it was.
Oh, that was a bad movie.
That's what this feels like.
That was
this is their
bad movie.
Second slip. Because here's the weird part, though. Okay, people, over this weekend, I watched The Killing Joke again because I needed a comparison of how I felt watching this film. And as I watched The Killing Joke again and I compared it to this film, it's a lot more to like in The Killing Joke than it is in this one. A lot more to like. And that's the problem. I saw it and I felt it. And I'm like, it can't be that bad because I remember what I felt when I saw The Killing Joke. Even when I saw the Killing Joke on the big screen also, and it looked better than this film did.
Because I think the Killing Joke was actually calibrated for the big screen. This really wasn't. I think he even said it. Like they even said it.
It was made for. But
this was made for home.
But then to me, that's the drawing aspect of it because I've seen more DC films on the big screen. Like you can see more than just those animated ones on the big screen, and it not look. The quality not drop as much as it did in this one.
All right,
quality drop.
Last question.
And it was rushed.
Last question. This movie was rated R? Yes, it was rated R.
It is rated R.
Do you think it merits the R rating?
No.
Wow.
I am highly I understand the little blood splatter that they do. They really don't the language wasn't that bad in it. Mm-hmm. A little bit of blood splatter, really not that bad in it. In all honesty, that it feels like a marketing ploy to even make this a rated R film. Because if you're
So
gonna go rated R, I'm gonna need you to go a lot harder than they went in this film. And this
okay,
is supposed to be of Jack the Ripper. It lends to going harder than it went in this film.
okay.
I mean, it's a nice cheap ploy. You could have kept all the killers off screen, really, as they mainly did. And you could just take out the fake little blood splatter and clean up a tad bit of the language, and it had no effect on this movie.
All right. Cool. So finally, the last part of the show. Lucas is impressed or isn't impressed? And if he isn't impressed, how many Lucas isn't impressed does this movie get?
Clearly
No.
going to be Lucas isn't impressed. We know
Okay.
that part.
Okay.
Clearly know that part.
All right.
But I'm going to go Lucas isn't impressed, maybe 1.5. Lucas isn't impressed.
I'm gonna spit my
So
way
it
out.
could be so much worse. so much worse.
All right.
But you know what? On the strength of Jennifer Carpenter
Yes. Her.
and Bruce Greenwood, I can't go. Matter of fact, let's take it. I'll go a half of Lucas isn't impressed instead of 1.5. I'll go half because they were great in this. There's the
So that's
voice.
That's a
cast was-
borderline. That's a borderline. Lucas is impressed.
but that's a borderline D. Because I could have did Lucas is impressed and a 1-star. Lucas is impressed.
So why don't you just
So
go with
bad.
that?
Nope.
You're being petty.
Because you know why I can't go with that? Because the voice cast can't make up for everything else. Because if it wasn't for them two,
Yes.
we would be at 3. Lucas isn't impressed.
Okay. All right then.
For them two. So
All
I'm
right.
giving them way more credit than I think I should.
Wow.
But I'm still going to give them the credit. Matter of fact, no, fuck that. Go back to the original. 1.5. Lucas isn't impressed.
Okay.
I can't give them that much credit, but man, Jennifer Carpenter was great as Selena Kyle in it.
All right. Well, you already know Mo liked this movie, so Mo is gonna give it a Lucas is impressed rating, and I'm going to say we have 2.5 Lucas is impressed for this movie from Mo Crosby. Yeah, that's it.
I thought you was going to try to go stupid high for some odd reason, Mo.
Not even, not at all. I was never gonna go high.
So are you? I'm really interested because we did not review it. I'm really interested in what you thought about The Killing Joke because again,
Oh no,
Killing Joke had better
Oh, no.
moments.
no, the Killing
And-
Joke was
and
not
it's-
impressive at all. It was not. It's
Killing Joke
not
had
impressed.
better moments.
It's
Better moments
two.
though.
It's two. Lucas isn't impressed for The Killing Joke for me.
Can I ask why? Because that's very interesting. Because to me, in all the flaws that The Killing Joke had, the biggest flaw The Killing Joke had was the point that the source material left way too much to interpretation. That's not the case here. The source material is there for what they wanted to do. The Killing Joke really didn't have source material. And like we can't even compare voice cast because The Killing Joke blows this one away.
Okay, so the twist and the addition of that one scene in The Killing Joke kind of killed it for me. I think you know what I'm talking about. The rooftop scene in The Killing Joke was where I was like, I turned myself off this movie. I didn't want to see, talk, or hear about this movie
Wow.
anymore.
You know what? Okay, and that's the problem with you comic book people, Mo. And I'm categorizing as you comic book people because that did nothing. It didn't matter at all to me. The attempt to develop that as a relationship, I could care less about. I understood why they did it from a character's perspective. We had different issues with The Killing Joke. My issue was the whole play on the Joker was the issue. What happened on the rooftop was so consequential to anything to me. I could care less.
Nah.
But comic book people had a problem with that.
Yeah.
And that's where you let your comic book bias show.
Me?
But then I'm wondering who's there. How the fuck could you get through this one? Because this one, and again, the twist. Again, I'm confused how you didn't see that coming from a mile away. It's kind of obvious. You're going to have to see this movie again, and I think once you see it again through, I'm going to say nicely, a different set of eyes, you may see the issues with it. And the issues are so glaring. But again, say it's to that. That's fine.
Right now, based off what I've seen, what I saw, I'm telling everyone to see it. It's still not. It's probably not going to make my top 10 all-time DC AU movies, but it's no. But I thought it was good. And that, my friends, is the end of this Lucas and Moe versus the movies review. This was a pretty interesting one because we went back and forth in this movie, and we even threw in The Killing Joke, and we talked about that movie. And shoot.
And this is something that I'm supposed to do because as I always say, especially for film I don't believe is good, there's no reason to waste your money on this piece of shit of a film. If you would like a film featuring Batman, pick up anything. Go watch The Red Hood again. Watch Great Batman again. There's no reason to sit through shitty Batman at all. Let's forget all about it. I would recommend you see The Red Hood before you pay to see this movie. Or, if you have to see this movie, Lucas and Moe does not advocate any illegal distribution or viewing of film. You should pay because the actors, even voice actors, work really, really hard to bring this project to you. But, if you have a different way to see it without paying for it, I suggest you do that. There's no need to pay for this one.
Damn it, Lucas.
It should be on HBO in about 2 months. You'll be fine.
Damn it.
I said it should be on HBO in 2 months, which is true. It will be on HBO in 2 months. Just watch it when it comes on there for free if you have HBO. If you don't, borrow someone's HBO membership or something to watch it. Don't pay to see this piece of shit.
All right, well, that's the end of that review. This review is going to be on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Pocket Cast, Google Play. I don't know the rest. I'll tune in, and I'm not sure about the rest. I'll probably put it in the description somewhere. So it's going to be out there for you to get it. It's also going to be on YouTube, my channel, and probably Lucas's Draw 4 channel. Check out the website, earth2cc.com. I've done this way too many times to be blanking. That's all I got. Lucas, you want to add something?
So, hey, to see this movie. And thank y'all for listening.
All right. Good night and God bless. We are out. Peace.
I was told to defend this goal, defend to the death, to the very last breath.